Hello, this is Susan Carboni. In this vodcast, I'd like to introduce you to Masteringaandpdotcom. This is an add-on that you purchase with new textbooks. If you don't get a student access code with your textbook, if you have a used textbook or you choose not to have a hardbound textbook and you want to just use the electronic version, you can purchase access to Masteringaandpdotcom. So here I am. I'm going to start out on the Bio 115 site. If you're listening to this as a Bio 117 student, the information is the same. Your course ID is going to be different. So for the Bio 115 course, the course ID for the mastering site is Bio 115 MCO Carboni. The site address is www.masteringaandpdotcom. So I'm going to click on that link. These are live links from the e-learning site, and it brings us to the main page of Mastering A&P. And I don't know if I mentioned this or not yet, but this is where you'll be doing your homework. So I've already got a site, but let's just go through as many steps as I can to show you how you're going to register. I clicked on the Student tab to register now, and you should have your cardboard student access code kit ready. And I think that's not what I want. Okay, so this is telling you that you need to have an email account and you need to have your access code. And so if you don't have an access code, you're going to need some sort of a credit card or bank card.
Even 10 miles away, they can see the light.
I don't want that. And so you're probably going to be doing it from within the US or Canada. And let's do, yes, I have an access code. And click Next. There's a whole bunch of privacy statements here. There's got to be a faster way to do that. Oh, okay, maybe I can just go down to the bottom. You accept, so just accept those. And I'm not sure I want that. Okay. Some additional websites may come up, X out of them. I'm using, well, I'm actually in Internet Explorer, and sometimes these add-ons come up. Anyway, this is the screen that you want. You shouldn't have to put in the level of education in order to register for Mastering A&P. Okay, so do you have an education account? If you don't, say no, and most of you are not going to, but you may. So if you've taken another course where you've used Mastering A&P, say yes. This is going to have you create a login. The login is going to be, it's recommended that you use an email address so that they can communicate with you if there are issues. You create a password, and this is where you put in the access code. Okay, and I don't have one, so I can't take you any further in this process, but most of the time it works really well. So for those of you that are purchasing the access to mastering online, when you're at this screen, no, I need to buy access, click here, and just make sure that you choose the correct textbook. At the time that I am making this vodcast, the textbook is Marib and Hohen. It is the 9th edition, and I didn't see it. So let me just go back through one more time. Oh, it was right here. I obviously missed it. So you want the 9th edition, and so you would click on this one. So that's as far as I can take you from this standpoint. And so now what I'm going to do is I am going to show you what is on the site. So to do that, I'm going to click on here. I'm going to sign in. Once you've registered, you will then sign in once you get to this website. And there are an amazing number of tools here. Learning tools, this is where you'll do your homework. So I'm going to change it to the Bio 115 site, but for the Bio 117 site, it is going to be, oh, I lied. Okay, let me try that again. Bio 115 site, MCO Carboni, that's the one that I want. Okay, so assignments. Here are your list of assignments. It tells you when the due date is. This is a practice. This will introduce you to the types of questions that will be asked and how to answer them. That's optional. If this is the first time you've used this site, you might want to just try it out so that you feel more comfortable once you do your homework assignments. It's not part of your grade, so if you don't do very well, you don't finish it, don't worry about that. But the first assignment is Chapter 1 for Bio 115, and this is going to look different when you log on. It is going to look more like this when you log on. There will be a list of items for you to click on, and as you click onto them, you will see the questions. And so you'll go through. Once you get into the first question, you answer that. Which of the following best defines anatomy? And I'm going to choose that. Submit. Tells you that it's correct. And then down here in the lower right-hand corner, you can go to the next item. And you'll just do that until you have finished your assignment. And at the end, it should show you either there or in the grade book for mastering what your score is. So you will be working on one or more of those homeworks every week. So that's the major function of mastering. But I want to show you some pretty amazing features that have learning tools that you can use. The first is from the main page. Get out of the assignment page, go back to the course home page. Over here on the right, there are dynamic study modules. So after you complete your homework or you're starting to study for the midterm, you might want to come back to these dynamic study modules. They look different from the instructor site than they do the student site, so I can't walk you through what they look like. But it's a series of questions that will be adapted by what you answer correctly and give you some additional information. So I highly recommend that you experience those as you're trying to figure out how you can best study. Then the other feature of Mastering A&P that you really need to know about is this study area. So I'm going to go to the study area, and it's organized by chapters. So this is Chapter 1, and Chapter 1 is pretty easy. So let's go look at Chapter 2. So you go select Chapter 2 and then make sure you click on Go. And they have, first of all, if you have purchased a textbook, you have a copy of your textbook online. So let's say you're traveling and you want to do some studying, and you've got your smartphone or a tablet or your computer with you. You can have access to your textbook here. So there's also a way where you can purchase access to Mastering A&P. If you pay enough money, and they'll give you the options when you're buying it, you can also purchase the textbook online. So here are some of the things that you have available to you for every chapter. First of all, there's a chapter guide, and it will take you to different parts. The chapter guide will take you to different parts of your textbook. You also have chapter quizzes, and these are online. They're not part of the course. They will not be graded. They're just for you to practice. So you have practice quizzes and you have practice tests. You have chapter games and activities. So let's click on that. So there's an art labeling exercise, and chapter 2 is pretty difficult for most people. So this is where you can take some of these things and I don't know if this is a labeling exercise or not. But these are the terms that you should know. Yeah, it says drag each item to its correct location. So I'm going to drag this over to here. And you heard a nice little clicking sound. That means I got it correct. Okay, so let's take 3 fatty acids and I'm going to put that over here. Well, that wasn't correct. I knew it wasn't correct because I wanted to show you that it will help you learn. So it will tell you when you're putting it in the wrong location. So for each chapter there are all kinds of activities very similar to this one. And there's crossword puzzles if you like games, memory games, important molecules, you can go play some memory games. There are animations. These are little video. Actually, I'm going to X out of that one because that one's not very useful, but structure of proteins.
Most proteins are folded into a complex globular shape.
I've included some of these in my vodcasts, so you should be able to listen to those from the vodcast. But if you don't want to go through my vodcast just to hear these little video clips, you can certainly come here and do that. So this is chapter 2, and so you can see that there are some interesting things here for you to do. I do want to just show you that as you get into, there's some things to do for every chapter here in A&P1. There are some systems on Mastering A&P that are more robust than others. So let's, for instance, go to chapter 9. It's not until later on in Bio 115, but what you'll find is once we get into the more sophisticated systems that there's going to be some interactive physiology for you to do. There's these A&P flicks. Again, I've included a lot of these little video clips in my lecture, but if you just want to come and review them, these are amazing.
Nerve impulses, also known as action potentials, travel from the brain or spinal cord to trigger the contraction of skeletal muscles. An action potential propagates down a motor neuron to a skeletal muscle fiber. The site where a motor neuron excites a skeletal muscle fiber is called the neuromuscular junction.
Okay, I'm going to end it there. Eventually, I'll be lecturing that from my videos, but it's always, those little video clips are always available to you. I also want to point out to you that some, if not all, of the chapters have flashcards available to you, and I don't see that link here, which is interesting. We've got, maybe they're under, let's go check out interactive physiology. I don't see that there. Study tools, let's go look at study tools. Okay, that's how you find them. So for every chapter, you can click on study tools. There's some histology, which will be useful in chapter 4 for the lecture part. It will be far more useful for lab, most chapters in lab. Case study tutorials, you can go check those out. This glossary, so if you're having a hard time with certain terms, you can go here. And also, if you are having a hard time pronouncing things or you want to know how they're pronounced, go to the online glossary. And then the interactive flashcards. So in my vodcast where I go over how to study, I'm going to suggest you make your own flashcards, but if you want to try out using theirs. So this brings you to all of the chapters and their flashcards. So let's just click on Chemistry Comes Alive. That's a particularly challenging chapter in A&P1. And I guess let's just select all. No, I don't want to do that. Create deck. Okay, so anyway, here's okay, it's going to give you the term and it's going to give the definition. So you can play with, and let's click on play here.
Static equilibrium.
Okay, this is another way that you can learn how to pronounce things. And so from static equilibrium, this has all of the chapters on there, which I didn't mean to do. It will tell you what's on the flip side. Okay, so if you were making your own flashcards, you would have a term on one side and the other side you'd have the definition. So this gives that to you. Okay, so let's just recap Mastering A&P. Let me X out of there. So if we go back to the home page, which is here, you do your assignments under this tab right here. You can go to the grade book and see what your grades are. Then you can also work in the study modules here and go to the, actually you have a link to your e-text right there, and you can go to the study area and experience all of the chapters and all of the functions that they have here. So I can't emphasize enough, one of the most important things for you to determine very quickly in this course is, how do you learn this information? Do you learn it by reading the textbook and making your own study guides, making your own flashcards, doing the exercises on the Mastering A&P site? Everybody learns differently, so it's really important for you to learn how you learn.